I came personally to your place, the Mud House, to give you an invitation.
I'm here.
Yes, I'm just telling you that, other than 7,000 people that we have invited, I made it a point to come personally to people who met with me to give.
But I'm not saying personally that you should have to come to every door. I'm just saying that why don't you just follow the rules and do the platinum petition that every
Because that's not the law.
Oh,
because that is not the law.
What is the law?
The law is under institutional uses, and I'll be happy to lay this out, and you can read the lawsuit. We're not asking for special treatment. We're simply asking for what the law says. The problem is, the city will tell people to do a platinum petition, and they just do it. It's not correct.
What's wrong with the petition?
It's not a problem.
Pardon me, the law, excuse me?
It's not a problem. It would be a courtesy to come to the neighborhood association.
We're not even talking about the courtesy. We're not talking about your neighborhood meeting. We're
That's
talking about platinum
That's the
petition.
problem. You're not being nice enough to the citizens to petition and say, hey, do you want a halfway house in your neighborhood where there could be potential more crime around your children?
Okay, I can ask you a couple items. Let me just throw a few questions out there, and I respect your response. Okay. So the other one, I was just saying, it feels a little kind of like the stadium proposal, right? They didn't do a platinum petition there, there was a vote. And it feels a little bit like that kind of political and kind of got crammed on our throats a little bit. And I'm a little concerned that maybe we're facing the same sort of thing here. Now, this is not to say not in my backyard. I'm from a small town in Kentucky. Addiction is in my family. It's currently in my family. These things they're very important to communities. We got halfway houses in the neighborhood. I'm not saying that it's not in my backyard. I'm just saying that if something like this this is large scale. We already have problems with large scale federal prisons. This doesn't feel much different than that in a lot of ways to me. So I think it's important to clarify a little bit more like where you're trying to take this, so the direction. Like the first question that you had, things like job placement. What kind of jobs are in this community that people, that patients that you're going to have, where are they going to find jobs during the day? How are we going to help assimilate them back into the community? And what is our role here? How are we going to help? How are we going to engage with this? This is the largest halfway house in the Midwest. You're taking it from the longest. The Dismas House has had their contract for 69 years. It's the longest standing halfway house in the United States.
Okay,
so if you're going to take it from there, pardon me, if you're going to take that contract from there and put it here, it just seems that it needs to make sense. A business plan needs to make sense. How, like you talked about, like on when the first screen came up, they said you had experience in working with mental health in the federal or the state or local prison system. When we met before, you said you had 2 months. 2 months in that field. And that seems that we have a lot at stake here. We have a community. Very importantly, we have patients' lives. And we need to take that very serious. If we're going to put patients' lives in your hands, I mean, we need to feel comfortable that you're going to do the right thing. If you fail, you're basically gambling with someone else's money. We have everything to lose. They have everything to lose. You have everything to win and nothing to lose. You told us in our meeting that your business is portable. My business is not portable. My residence is not portable.
Right.
Everyone here lives here. They do their business here. It's our neighborhood. So it isn't, I don't want this to be contentious, but I just think it's important that there is a little bit of sympathy and that you understand what our concerns are and you address those a little bit. I don't want this to be contentious. I'm not saying, I want all due respect, but I think it's important that some things are addressed and that we have a chance to kind of air our opinions.
Okay, can I answer? So basically, first of all, this contract has not been awarded. I'm one of the people that are applying for the contract, okay? The great thing about this country is, do you know why it's a superpower? It allows people, it gives people a chance. It lets people who are educated, who can bring in a change from education to change people's lives. That's what I'm fighting for. That's the change that I have been working for. I had a chance.
Why here?
Why here? This is my community for last
No, you live in
Dr. Syed, You said one thing during our meeting. I said, Doctor, if you don't have the support of your community, which I don't know how everyone here feels, and there's a lot of times I don't know how I feel about things from day to day. But I'm just saying, I asked you face to face, if you don't have the support of your community, why would you do it? And you said, Jeremy, if I don't have the support of the community, I will withdraw my proposal. This is the best opportunity we have to let you know if you have our support.
You don't.
So does that still stand? Does that still stand? If we took a show of hands and we don't support or we do support, would you stick to your word and withdraw your proposal?
David, what? How do you want me to address this? Listen.
David, you were there. David heard that.
David, if you're really concerned about paying your taxes, I heard you say earlier,
yes.
you wanted to do a for-profit so you could pay the city the taxes that they were due. If you really want to pay the city some taxes, you could move from your fine house in Chesterfield down in this neighborhood and start paying some
Specifics are in terms of the utilization of space, treatment plans, connection with the community, interaction with social organizations, churches, that sort of thing. Can you speak to some specifics about that?
Okay. What I proposed was we are going to have computer labs for these residents. We are going to have social workers. There is a whole structure that federal government wants us to follow to help these residents out. So we are going to follow that. Plus, I have already told you that I am going to hire people that are from this community. And we are going to have a job fair to help these people be a part of this community. Yes, ma'am.
I have really 3 questions.
Okay.
The first one, I want to know what are your classifications that you're defining for a nonviolent offender? You've already eliminated sex offender, which I've got a
Correct.
question about that. So what types of offenses are these people going to fall into? I'm assuming something with drug abuse is one of them.
Correct.
What other categories are there?
David, do you have any information on that? Because
I mean, that's the drug abuse is the broad one.
The broad
There'd be a
one.
variety
Okay.
of others. I think we can speak.
Now, the law may have changed. This is over 20 years ago.
correct,
I was in charge of a personnel office out in Sullivan for one of the largest plants in the area.
correct.
And we participated in a program. It was a federal program. And I will let everyone know that for the most part, I hired a large number of people who were on parole.
Okay.
And there were very few of them that ever caused a problem or went back into the system. They were excellent workers. But at that time, we were not able to designate that we would not hire from any certain offense group. In fact, there were percentages that we had to meet in order to participate in this program and get the tax advantages. So how are you getting around that? How are you able to say we won't work with sex offenders?
The reason is there is Missouri law. If there are schools nearby and if there is a church nearby, you cannot do that.
Okay, because you couldn't do that back then.
Right,
We had this
right,
now, yeah.
right. No, but people were saying this about me, that he's going to be keeping sex offenders. This was a
Okay.
big thing on me, you know. People without even talking to me started saying this thing about me. So I just wanted to address that.
But I do want everyone to know that, I mean, this was a large plant. I mean, 24-hour operation, over 600 employees, total employees. And there was they didn't want to go back to jail. These people were very good workers. But at that time, we couldn't designate
Right.
any classification differentiation on who I interviewed.
In this case also, if they do anything wrong, you just have to make a phone call and we have to make a phone call for them to go back.
Now, my third question is, what are your security protocols? Because we are already aware of people who have caused problems in the area that we live in, the Grand Gravois area, that escaped from a halfway house.
Okay, now there is a difference between a state halfway house and a federal halfway house. They have to log in, they have to log out, and there is a curfew. If somebody violates all of those things, We just have to call and federal officers and they will come pick them up. Yes, sir.
I want to thank you, first of all, for trying to make a meeting with us. I would assume that had we not gotten the invitation today, that there would be more people here.
We have sent out 7,000 invitations, sir.
That kind of
Thanks for being here. I just want to point a few things out. One, just if you would elaborate on them to the room, that would be nice. So we had the opportunity. I was part of a small group that met with you and Mr. Sweeney a few months back, and we talked about some things there that I just want to see if you could elaborate on a little bit. One, I don't know if everyone in the room is aware of the fact that Mr. Sweeney and Dr. Syed are currently suing the city of St. Louis because they do not think that they need to do a platinum petition. So we're located on Cherokee Street. If we were to apply for a liquor license or open a tattoo parlor, we would have to get a 500-foot radius platinum petition from our neighbors giving us permission to get an input to open our business. So if you're interested in community input, it seems like you wouldn't be suing the city trying to avoid it. That's
Okay,
one thing
before-
Let me address
Okay.
that. Let me address that.
Okay.
If I may.
Before you address that,
Undecided and who's opposed, just so our elected officials can have some idea, and then nothing else to say. Everybody who's in favor of this proposal, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay? Everyone who's undecided about this proposal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 14. I did get him. 14. Okay, everyone in the room who is opposed to this proposal, please raise your hand. Give me a second here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26.
You can stop there.
Yeah, 27, 28, 29, 30.
We got your idea.
34, 35, 36,
We know that.
43, keep your hands up. 44,
Who's running the meeting?
Jason, you can count silently. He's got something to say. Just talk. Just talk.
Let me tell you something now. I know we are against this. We're against this. We all don't like it. And we want something that'll work, and we don't have nothing that'll work. We all realize, hey, we got a bad deal here. But if you keep saying no to everything, you ain't going to help it. We got to find something that works. That's what
is no. Are you still going to go forward with this? And are you going to have any more of these types of meetings and discussions?
meetings and discussions are always good, isn't it?
Yeah, but I don't think you wanted to have this one. And so I'm just wondering, there's a lot of people that aren't here that would probably like to
I
voice
think
some
He
concern.
called,
Why not?
but he didn't want to. He called this. I mean, no one made him do this. So,
I know, but there are
so
lots
that,
of
let's-
neighborhood associations
I understand.
represented now where he was invited. There was 20th Ward meeting where he was invited.
What date was
There
it?
were tons of meetings that he was invited to that he didn't show up. We met him
Tons.
here on
That-
his own terms. What I'm saying is, are there going to be
I-
more
I-
opportunities
that is
for the
wrong.
community?
That is wrong. That is a lot of propaganda.
Right. Again, the face. Are there going to be more opportunities for community engagement, open community engagement? And if the overwhelming response is that the community does not want this, what are you going to do? Considering that you've probably already started measuring the drapes. Or filed for occupancy, however you want to define it.
They have filed for occupancy.
Hey, can I say something?
So what? No. Please answer that first. Answer that first. Please answer. What are you going to do if the community says no?
As far as the meetings go, if I may,
But I.
if I can answer that, I'll let you answer to the question about the community support.
Use the microphone, we can't hear you over here.
I'd be happy to. As far as the meetings go, I got involved in late October when we started going through this process, I reached out to Alderwoman Spencer immediately. We talked about meetings. I asked right around the holidays, right when there were going to be any more meetings at that time, correct?
That's correct, but I did,
okay.
For the record, Dr. Syed was invited. I mentioned when he was unable to attend that he could send a representative with literature, and I also made sure everybody was aware that every neighborhood association, every business association in the area hosts regular meetings. Those dates are posted online. They're easy to find, Google searches. They're very, very easy to find.
Agreed. And on November,
and I very strongly encouraged outreach at that for a period of time.
And on November 3rd when we met, you gave us all that list, and we said we'd go back, and then that's when holidays came up. Again, no fault of anyone's. And I understand that he did not come to that meeting in July, and there's other, was it July? July. That I understand. So the occupancy permit question came up. We're still going through that process right now. We have no occupancy permit from the city. So there's no measuring of the drapes, or that'd be kind of silly.
But I said filed, I didn't say awarded. But I'm just asking, ultimately, we're all here to find out what happens next. And it seems like just from this room and the gauge of talking to people in the community on the street that this is overwhelmingly opposed. So if you do your data and your canvassing and all of that, and you realize that this is probably not the best community welcome that you would get, are you still going to do it? And if you are, then why are we even here? Thank you.
I wanted to know. I wanted to know from the community, and just these people are just not. This is a small part of the community. You have to understand that, okay? And I respect everybody's decision, and we'll do whatever we can. What is best for the community, we are going to do that. At that, I would right now wrap up this meeting. And if you have any questions, you can come personally talk to me. So you can come.
Can I say one thing?
I would just like to offer.
You've already spoken, sir. I've had my hand up for 45 minutes. And I would like to ask you a question. I'm sorry I have to be rude. There was no moderator at this meeting. It's almost over. May I speak, please?
Go ahead.
Sure. Go ahead.
Okay. Ms. Spencer wants to
your
say something.
bed floor breaks down to $32,000 per year per bed. Are you going to charge your clients rent?
No, sir.
Halfway houses traditionally do that.
Right. The federal government has taken care of it.
We who contribute to the federal, to the IRS, are going to spend $32,000 a year per bed. Now, did you submit a budget to the Department of Prisons?
Yes, sir.
What is the amount of your salary?
What? I have not decided any amount.
It has to be in your budget.
So that's what I'm telling you, that I have not done that.
You have not submitted a budget?
I have submitted the budget, but I have not submitted a salary.
Your salary would be a part of that budget.
That's what I'm telling you, but I have not done that, sir.
And you've already told us you're going to spend less than the living wage for the people that will work for you. A living wage is $15 an hour. Not 10 1/4, not 40% greater than state.
The federal rate is 40% more than the Missouri state.
We're talking $10.50 here. You are not going to pay your people a living wage. I bet you'll make one.
Okay. All right, sir.
I don't want to take any. I just wanted to congratulate the community. This was a really great turnout. But I also, something that we haven't really mentioned here is that Dr. Syed's worked in our community for over. Sure. Dr. Syed has worked in our community